Now, I've said this before, buying a Porsche sports car in India is a bit confusing. There are plenty of 911s, and to make matters worse, their entry-level models, the Cayman and the Boxster, have a new variant, the GTS.
And that's exactly what we've got today. So we have the Boxster GTS and the Cayman GTS. Let's find out how much of a difference these three little letters make. So, what's the visual disparity in these new GTS baby Porsches? Let's play a game of Spot the Difference. Okay, I'm sure you've spotted the redesigned front and rear fascias. Look closer. The headlights and the taillights are smoked out. Quite a cool effect. The headlights have even got bi-xenon lamps with Porsche's dynamic lighting system. Now let's look at this side. Yup, bigger wheels. 20-inch Carrera S wheels. Move around the back and you've got the black exhaust pipes that are part of Porsche's sports exhaust system. And I know that you're dying to hear them fired up just a little bit longer. Let's move inside, shall we? Yes, there's a lot of Alcantara on the steering wheel, the dash, the headlining. Not sure if that's a good thing for India. You also have the optional bucket seats on these cars. Oh, and not to forget, the GTS badges on the insides and the outsides. Now Rohit, since you had your time behind the wheels of the Cayman GTS in Germany, I think you can take the convertible while I'll take the real sports car here.
Well, it's breezy and sunny. I think I'll enjoy the wind in my hair.
So what is the significance of these three letters, the GTS? Well, the GTS insignia was first introduced in 1963 with a Porsche 904. Then that was when Porsche wanted to enter various FIA GT racing events. So the GTS cars were always cars that were road cars but could take on the racetracks at any given point of time. Now since then there have been many GTS cars, but it was reintroduced in 2007 with the Cayenne and then the Panamera, which kind of didn't really make sense to me.
So for the first time since 1963, a GTS badge has been put on a mid-engine Porsche, the Boxster and the Cayman. But there's more to the GTS than just the badge. Under the GTS guys, the 3.4-litre flat-six engine puts out about 15 PS more. So the Boxster does about 335 PS, the Cayman produces 345 PS. And these figures are freakishly close to the base 911s. That has only 10 PS more to boast about.
Now since this is India and well, nobody really likes a manual gearbox, Porsche have continued with the dual clutch PDK automatic gearbox. Now since the PDK has always been a favorite with us, we've often said that it is possibly the best automatic gearbox in the world. We've never really complained, we've never really missed the manual as much most of the times. But sometimes in cars like these, you just wonder how much more fun a manual would really be.
So if you have the Sports Chrono package and the PDK gearbox, you can also opt for the launch control. And unlike many other German cars which have long procedures, the launch control here is pretty simple. Engage the drive mode, put it in Sport Plus mode, step on the brake, step on the throttle, launch control engaged, and we're off.
Now with the Sports Chrono pack, you also get the Sports exhaust as standard. So you either put it in the Sports Plus mode or press this dedicated exhaust button right here. So you go from this to this, a slight gurgle, to this. Now if there ever was a parameter, and I think there should be one where you, well, plot the cost of the car with the nature and the kind of sound it makes or the width of the smile it plasters across your face, I think this car, these cars, the GTS cars, would probably be right up there. Both the Cayman and Boxster GTS gets Porsche's active suspension management system, the electronic damping system that you get with the 911 Carrera. A multitude of sensors gauge the body movement, acceleration, and road surfaces, and the PASM unit modulates the damping force on each wheel. There are two modes that you can select: Comfort, which keeps the dampers softer for everyday use, and Sports mode, the speed junkie in you, which makes the dampers a bit firmer. And under the highly unlikely circumstance that you're still not satisfied with the handling, you can opt for the optional carbon ceramic brakes and the torque vectoring system too. Now the reason why I said that the Cayman GTS is the real sports car here is because, as any engineer or race car driver will tell you, convertibles is for sure. They're for people who want to be seen driving fancy cars. And aerodynamicists will tell you that the coefficient of drag of a convertible is higher than that of a coupe. A chassis engineer will tell you and complain about the way they've had to strengthen the convertible chassis, thereby increasing the weight. Tell me, have you ever seen a GT car racing series or a tin top racing series, or even a rally for that matter, with an open roof car?
Now this is where I don't agree with Jamshed. Sure, the convertibles were conceived with the whole idea of making you experience the thrill of driving with the roof down. But then convertible technology has come a long way. For example, the coefficient of drag, the difference between the Boxster and the Cayman, is 0.01. That's insignificant. And they almost weigh the same. I'm a biker and I certainly do not appreciate the whole feeling of being caged. And the convertible gives me that feeling, a sense of freedom. It comes the closest to motorcycles.
Well, he may have a point there, but there is one advantage that Caymans have over Boxsters that even he cannot refute, and that is boot space. Now, both these cars have 150 litres up front, but the Cayman has 285 litres at the back, whereas the Boxster only has a measly 130 litres thanks to its roof retracting mechanism. So in effect, this has about 425 litres totally of boot space, whereas that has only about, well, 280 litres. That's kind of the difference between a small hatchback and a C-segment sedan. The enhancements with the GTS cars don't come cheap. Upwards of 1 crore 15 lakhs for the Boxster GTS and 2 lakhs even more if you want the Cayman GTS. And that just makes you wonder, would you pay that kind of money for these 3 letters?
So having driven both these cars, there's a little more confusion. Now, would you rather buy the Cayman S and spec it up with better features and equipment? Because the additional 15 PS that you get in both these cars is barely noticeable on our roads. And even the cosmetic changes, they're barely visible. Or would you spend that extra money and get the base spec 911?
But what you're also paying extra for is the GTS badge. Now, it's not just a high-end variant. What it also stands for is almost half a century of Porsche's GT racing legacy. Now, both these cars have entered the 911's realm of performance while being significantly cheaper, 20 lakh rupees. Not to mention they are specced up right to the brim, and Indians love buying sports cars that are specced up. So in that sense, the GTS cars do make a lot of sense.
But here's more confusion. Would you buy the convertible or the coupe? Make your choice.